This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, hello. This is a recording of the pitch for about 10 minutes of the integral operating system. So let's jump right in. Let me just close this little pop-up that I have. So let's jump right in now for sure. Integral operating system, a seed is one of the symbols that I feel resonate with this, and another one is a scaffolding or infrastructure of infrastructure, scaffolding. So this is a mandala of scaffolding, which is kind of funny. But these two analogies I find most accurate for what I'm going to be speaking about. And I'll start by just outlining the 4 key ideas of this entire deck, right? So the idea number 1 is that on Earth, we're on going through a meta crisis, and so we need meta solutions. Idea number 2 is that to create meta solutions, we must collectively agree on a joint vision. This may resonate or not with you. We'll unpack this in the coming slides. Idea number 3 is that for a joint vision like that, we propose an AI co-developed holistic map of impact. And idea number 4 is that such a AI co-developed holistic map of impact would then serve us to connect people, movements, projects, best practices so that we can radically collaborate. So I'm here to talk about the meta vision that we may be able to agree on. So this is one candidate for such a meta vision. And so this holy grail of radical collaboration, as opposed to redundancies and working in silos and not having the awareness of one another necessarily, or only having a fragmented view of the entire impact ecosystem, or we could call it Earth consciousness movement, for example. So how do we get there? How would you get to this holy grail? An analogy helps of a weaving loom, right? So we're weaving a tapestry, and in reality, we're not separate. We're already working together on the same mission or same set of missions and subsets of missions. We're really doing it together. So it's already the case that we're weaving this tapestry, and that what we're doing takes everyone. It's not one of us that invents something new. It's really all of us coming together. And that's a big difference. It's not about someone proposing a super system. It's about all of us coming together and creating that system by being ourselves. How crazy is that? So I'm here to talk about technology, really. It's a weaving loom. So I'm here to propose a weaving loom that we can use to then integrate into one tapestry. And again, we need a tech that weaves us together that is nobody's, and at the same time, everybody's. So let's get into it. So what we're proposing here is an assembly point for all the efforts. A selfless meta assembly point so that we can then integrate into something. Okay, this is a big idea. So instead of just finding one-off collaborations, we want to find an assembly point that allows us all to integrate seamlessly. So let's speak about IntegralOS, which is a potential meta solution to this interoperability problem. What is it? Well, it's, as I said, an AI co-developed, dynamic, holonic, jointly agreed on meta vision that can serve us as an assembly point and as an infrastructure. And in order to perform this purpose, what we understood that a system like that has to be holonic, has to be holistic, has to be powered by best available AI. It has to be open source. It has to be crowdsourced. It has to be decentralized. It has to have distributed leadership and other characteristics. These are some of the key ones. And so this is what we came up with for the architecture of such a potential meta solution. So starting with the seed at the center of it, and the seed grows through the stages. It evolves to grow into a beautiful tree that gives fruits of labor. And it's important to understand that for a project like this, the requirements are kind of high. It has to be at the same time divinely inspired and kind of downloaded as a very heavy file. And at the same time, it has to be anchored in present reality. So not reinvent the wheel, but rather describe the truth of what already is and build from there. And so the way we build the architecture is the following. It starts with the first layer, which is pillars. So AI essentially mapped this whole thing, and humans together with AI proposed the architecture. So pillars is the first layer, and there are 6 pillars: culture, consciousness, economy, infrastructure, environment, governance, and meta pillar. And then we go ahead and map the second layer, which is focus areas. So just dividing each pillar into some focus areas. This is a map, very small font. You may want to take a screenshot or look at it later, but there are, we'll get to the number. I'll tell you how many there are of each. Then we get to the next layer, which is, okay, so what are the key challenges in each focus area? What do we want? And by the way, this is the roadmap to 2035. So as we were creating this, we were optimizing for 2035 as the time bound of this roadmap. And so for each key challenge, we come up with desired outcomes. For desired outcomes, we come up with missions, and then those missions, we map existing impact projects that are already contributing to those missions. So this is the architecture. There are 6 pillars, 45 focus areas, about 140 key challenges, 330 desired outcomes, about 1,000 missions, and about, actually more, 3,000 or so impact projects. I have to update that number. And you can visualize it as a mind map, essentially, right? So it's a big mind map. But since it's so logically structured, it's easy to follow. And this mind map, this mapping already is having some really amazing magnetic and electric power to activate synergy en masse. The very fact that I'm speaking to you just shows the magnetic power of this project that is magnetizing our team to be in rooms like this, for example. And so let's get into more specifics. So what is the MVP? How does it look like? How does it feel like? So essentially, again, we're talking about simplifying collaboration through AI-enabled matchmaking. Okay, so there is this angle of matchmaking that simplifies collaboration. So let's see how. It's very simple. We just need 2 things. One, we need to have nodes for connections, a way to have nodes to connect with one another. And then we need lines of communication between these nodes. Simple. And so to have the nodes, this is the comprehensive and granular map of missions. So that layer of missions serves as a set of nodes. And then for lines of communication, well, it's a messenger, some kind of a messenger with channels. And each channel corresponds to a mission. So the channels mirror the missions. And in this way, it then creates this opportunities for us to connect to one another, know of one another's efforts, and connect to one another. And in addition to this main really functional piece, there are other things that it provides, and we're just really scratching the surface. This is the very beginning of this explanation. I could go on for hours and hours on this. And another thing that it gives is a map of mission-driven impact initiatives. This is really cool because it's structured per mission. So each mission essentially becomes some kind of an incubator or a point of contact, point of assembly for people working on similar projects to come together and to get to know one another, cross-pollinate, etc. Then there is for a system like this, one needs a front door that connects people to a market of impact roles, to projects, to collaborations, etc. So we propose a purpose discovery tooling as that front door, and we'll speak about it in just a second. And the mission discovery itself, so having that the map of missions serves as a matchmaking for impact teams, for collaboration efforts, for cross-pollination, and essentially it matches many different things amongst one another. So it matches people to communities, it matches profiles of people to organizations, it matches people to roles, it matches communities to movements, and really there are so many opportunities with this. So let me briefly speak about the business model. Obviously, it's a work in progress, but the way it looks right now is that IntegralOS, and it's a fact that it's created open source. So you can look at the white paper, you can look at all of our communication of our team, you can look at all our documentation, at anything really. It's open source and radically transparent, even in addition to that, without being silly, of course, but it is open source and it is radically transparent. So that is the open source piece that enables that integration. And then on top of that, enabling layer and infrastructure, such a project, as we see, enables a lot of business spin-offs through integration. So let me give just a couple of examples. So imagine many of us and people we know work on transformational containers and personal evolution, whatever, awakening, whatever name you want to put to it. And so obviously, if we came together and plugged into one another with the unique pieces that we have, essentially we're talking about an integrating evolutionary academy. So if there is a mission, and there is a mission for that, then that serves as a focal point, as a hub, as an integral hub for people working on this. And so we can see an evolutionary academy, top-notch, new kind of organization emerging from there. Marketplace and cooperative. So I simply don't have time to speak about this right now, but this is another layer that opens up in a project like this. Then Sangha, obviously, people practicing together and growing together. And in this pitch, there isn't time for light demo, but I'll just say what it is. So this is a conference, it's a public page with speakers at the Hollow Movement conference in May 2024. And this is the front page, and these are some of the speakers that they have at the conference. Free publicity for these beautiful people. And so what I did, I went into the IntegralOS GPT that has all the mapping and architecture and way more loaded into it. And I just gave the names of the people and of their projects. And I said, please make them to a mission that their organizations are on. And as I went to their websites by myself and I checked it, it was spot on. It was spot on. So as of today, and the MVP is not even ready, but today, someone can go and find people on similar mission, essentially, by doing just that. And a few months ago, about half a year ago, we tried a proof of concept on this. So I spoke at a conference, I gave a QR code to people. QR code led to the mission map, the previous version of the mission map. So people would study that map, just look at it, find an aligned mission that they felt like they resonated with. Then they went into a chat, Telegram chat that mirrored the channels. The Telegram chat mirrored the missions, and about 70% of the test group were able in several minutes to complete all of that and to join the corresponding channels. So what's the current status of the project? Well, MVP is coming soon. We're gathering a founding team. We're bootstrapping as of right now. We're magnetizing a powerful outer circle first degree connections. We're getting into rooms like this one. So let's get to how you can engage with this. So IntegralOS GPT is already available in GPT Store. You can ask, there are many use cases. Ask it what kind of use cases you have. What is IntegralOS? You'll see. Then I invite you to use this Holonomic architecture for your impact project mapping. So just use any part of it. It's open source. Communication channels, well, this will be coming in the MVP. So, but I think you got the idea that you'll be able to find a mission or get matchmaked. Is that a word? Get matched with a mission by AI, and so that you can join the corresponding communication channel. Another very exciting angle of this that we're exploring with the team is using this as an impact assessment tool. So kind of SDG 3.0 or something like this, with the level of granularity that is unprecedented, and with AI's knowledge behind it and dynamically evolving. So very exciting future in there. Mission discovery. So you can use the mapping of the missions to discover, to connect with the mission you are aligned with, or find a mission for your organization, etc., and finding projects with matching missions. So you would go to IntegralOS, and if you know the mission of your organization, you would say, please give me a list of organizations that are working on a similar mission. So the question really is, can a critical mass of us agree on a meta vision? Can we actually collectively agree on something? That is the question, because we got to collectively agree on something. Otherwise, we're just continuing to work in silos and continuing to acquire other projects to merge, to come into our projects, right? The my thing. We still got to collectively agree on something. So the solution again is nobody's or everybody's infrastructure, an operating system that everybody collectively nurtures and creates together. So we spoke about this a little bit, but what kind of integration possibilities there are. So I'm saying that this is to be integrated into, and it's nobody's and everybody's. So how does one actually engage with it? And so one is that let's integrate the mapping. So this is not the mapping, the final mapping, the best mapping, the anything. There are other great projects that map impact initiatives, not too many, but there are. And so we're inviting them all to integrate with this because this project is built with the idea that it integrates holonically across all levels. It's made for integration. It's made as a foundation of the puzzle into which pieces plug in, and the foundation is just the scaffolding. It's not the project itself. So let's integrate blueprints. So if you have blueprints for team formation, for governance, equity distribution, public ledger, use AI, eco-villages, tokenomics, let's plug them in together, integrate them together, make them known to other people so that we can we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can reuse beautiful integral blueprints. And finally, integrate the zone of genius or the purpose discovery tooling as the front door into your system, into your project. So let's speak a little bit about that. Into a meta system like this, we need a way to plug in, some kind of a login. And so what we propose is use self-understanding as the front door. So let me explain myself. What do I mean by self-understanding and how it can be used as a front door? The question for what we're building really, how much does one know and embody their own purpose and mission? How much? It's infinite, right? It's endless. But how much? And so and let's imagine there is a threshold. We can choose the threshold. I mean, it's a whole conversation. But let's for the sake of this presentation, let's say there's a threshold, and let's say that the person passes the threshold. They know and embody their purpose and mission more than the threshold. Well, then AI just matches them to projects and collaboration and open roles, etc., etc. If they don't, then they should be able to receive self-understanding upgrades, right? And so let me speak about these self-understanding upgrades. And the first point, it's very clear. AI is able to matchmake. Is that a word? Or should I just say match? By just knowing the purpose and the mission of the person or organization. Okay, this is has been tested. It works. You can try it on your own. However, if people are just not there yet, they should have an opportunity to upgrade in their self-understanding, right? And so let me speak about that, because we have developed a very powerful way to do it in a very short period of time that we would like to describe. So let's start by purpose and mission. So what is purpose and mission? There's a lot of, let's demystify it. Let's just say what it is. So purpose is how we be. It's a sort of unique key that we hold that no one else holds. It's simply how we are naturally. So, for example, my purpose is to simplify, integrate, and innovate. Okay, and I just repeat that: simplify, integrate, and innovate. And so this is really my purpose in 3 words. Okay, and this is not just made up. This resonates deeply with me. And it also happens to be able, it also happens that it's possible to get to this 3 words with a 15-minute test, which is kind of nuts, but let me keep going. So mission, let's also define mission. Mission, I understand personally as what we do. So it's embodying that purpose. It's living that purpose, is doing something using that unique key. So I see it as doors that we can choose to acknowledge and accept the task of opening those doors. So with that unique key, okay? And so, for example, my missions that I have acknowledged and accepted are visionary leadership for Earth consciousness movement, developing and facilitating transformational containers, developing self-understanding tooling, and developing integral blueprints. And so I won't speak for too long about the process itself. It suffices to say that it's based on a zone of genius approach, and it uses psychometry and personality testing to arrive at the one sentence that transmits somebody's purpose and approximates somebody's uniqueness, essentially, within 15 minutes of testing. And so here it says 1 hour because the first 15 minutes is to, well, second point here is to get the one sentence zone of genius statement. And it takes 15 minutes. In 1 hour, a lot can be done, a lot of really cool things. This is just the beginning, right? There are other levels to understanding, connecting with one's purpose and mission, because this is infinite. This is an infinite process of self-understanding. Now, for the purposes of this exercise of what we're talking about, this enables systems to have people plug into marketplaces, plug into communities. AI is really good at suggesting roles that go well with people that have a particular zone of genius, which allows the matching to open roles. So wrapping this up, we're calling in people on similar mission that resonate with what I've been talking about. We also are calling in integrations and collaborations of all sorts, and we're calling in growth funding. So as for the first point, who are we calling in? Well, AI meta architects, conscious funders, builders, benevolent AI leaders, ethical hackers, integrators and integral blueprint creators, integral business consultants, conscious community leaders, mentors, Sangha. In terms of the growth funding, reach out to us. And in terms of the integrations and collaborations, we'd love to connect with other aligned puzzle pieces, because the very ethos and the very idea behind this project is to serve as the integration piece, as the seed that allows us to integrate and to know about one another. So just to wrap up, repeating in summary, these 4 ideas. For a meta crisis, we need a meta solution or meta solutions. A meta solution, we believe, happens when we collectively agree on a joint vision. Such a joint vision could be an AI co-developed holistic map of impact that allows the connections, that creates the nodes and creates the connections between the nodes so that we can get to the holy grail of radically collaborating. And so if you're willing to engage with us further and connect with us, speak to us, integrate, collaborate, just chat, anything, please use this link. It's tinyurl.com/integrallogin. It will take you to a short form and let's chat. Thank you so much for listening. I love you all.